Take two. Notifications. Are they coming out? I guess not. Next gen, how come you're the only one getting notifications? I've got a good signal here. My tablet says that it's not going out. Yep. I think I'm subscribed. YouTube, I'm not. I'm just refreshing YouTube, right? Well, let's try something here. I know. It is crazy. This says I'm live, it's just notifications aren't going out.
I need a job. I need assistance. Don't you want to work?
There's an ad.
How much does it pay? Hell yeah, man. Hell.
I don't know. There they go. All right. There's an echo. Natas, what's up, Ricardo? Big row, little truck. Turn that off. What is up, little Viking coach? How are we doing? Put my glasses on so I can look old and decrepit. Stewman 2, Roy Merritt, Pale Rider. Who else is in here? Matt. Just plain Matt. What's up? Tanker Driver Jerry. Tanker Driver Jerry. Or is it Gary? Jerry? Donnie Luke, how's it going? We are almost done with our week. Yes, it's only Wednesday, but there's stuff that has to be done for that little holiday they call Christmas. And Bob Kohler, Highway Junkie, CPAP, Anthony T. Hello from the Keystone. Cousin It. Cousin It is in my favorite state. Anthony T, if you have Pale Rider's number, get mine from his if you want to talk about that company you were wanting to talk about. I might have two options for you out of the area. Anyways, thank goodness it came in because I was just about to call you on the phone and finish the conversation. I know. Steve, do you know what happened to the guitar player that was with Vital Remains? His name is Dave Suzuki. No, I do not. I barely keep up, although I'm a very big death metal fan, I barely keep up with a lot of the news. If it doesn't come across Brave Words or Metal Sucks, I don't know about it. Do you know? Are you asking me because you don't know? Or do you know and I don't? Or are you thinking I know and you don't? Anyways. So I've been talking to a few people and on Zello and other sources, and here's why I named this apology, okay? This year there's been a huge amount of people that have entered the spot market, or they got their own authority, you know, basically both, right? James Best, what's up? How's that chicken teriyaki? Any good? I'm sorry, Zella. And as a content creator, we have to watch a little bit of what we talk about and what we say. Now, here's my warning to you guys, okay? And I'll get to my apology here in a minute. There are many people that come out here and do YouTube, and they only do it for referral bonuses. Okay? So when they talk about their company, they will give you all the peaches and roses. They will give you the good and none of the bad. The other thing is, you have people that will, you know, and that's company or owner op, okay? When I got that letter from Schneider saying that, hey, you know, spot market presents all these challenges, come back, blah, blah, blah. The reason why they put that letter out is because there's a lot of people that left Schneider, okay, and went to other companies, and they fell on their butt and had to come back. Because a lot of people watch content creators thinking that it's easy, thinking that you could be home every other day, or thinking that if you choose where you go or negotiate your own rates, that you'll get $3 a mile, all miles, and you know, and you'll have this freedom beyond anything you've ever known. And I'll get to the comments here in a second, guys. You know how I get behind the comments, I'm reading, I'm, you know, whatever. There's some really good YouTubers that cut to the chase and tell you the honesty, okay? Big Rig CEO, he's a good YouTuber. He's got some great content. And if you talk to him personally, he will tell you that what he does is great, and he'll teach you how to be successful. Steve Berger is another one over at Schneider that will teach you, you know, how he has been successful and the things to look out for and the strategies to have in place. People used to email me about Schneider stuff, and I would talk to them on the phone, and I would tell them what loads were in the area and how much money they potentially can make and what areas to run that would work best for them. But here's the problem. Here's where I'm apologizing. If you have any impression because of my videos that I'm living the life of luxury, and it is easy, requires no work and no sacrifice, I apologize. I do not want you guys to get the impression that being an owner-operator is easy. There's a lot of guys that go to different carriers thinking that it's going to be easy. There's a lot of guys that came out here to the spot market thinking that we were all going to make $3 a mile, all miles everywhere you went. There are days and weeks where it does seem easy, but there are also days where it's not. All right? Now, I will tell you that I'm happy being an owner-operator. Like trucking is the best thing that I've come across. It's the best opportunity I've had. And I'm trying to do the most that I can with this opportunity. But I know that there are people that have watched my videos and other people's videos. I'm not going to list names. And they get the impression that this is easy. You have to look for the YouTubers that put out information based off the fact that they really want to help you, not for the referral bonuses. Big Rig CEO, he wants to help. Steve Berger, he wants to help. People like CPAP, they want to help. I mean, Provost Motorsports, Big Rich, you know, these people want to help. They're not doing it for monetary gain, okay? There are people out there that do recruiting, and all they want is your paycheck. All they want is the money that comes along with that referral bonus. People like Jeffrey Like can make it seem like it's easy, because for Jeffrey Like, a lot of it is easy because he's been out here for 28 years. All right? But Jeff will also tell you that the reality of the challenges that you will face. I try to tell you the challenges that you might face. But if you get this impression that it's all roses and rainbows out here from watching my videos, I apologize. The smart ones watch my videos and say, wow, Steve's at home a lot. You'll figure out that maybe I'm home too much. Today's been a quiet day on the phone, so I didn't have too many phone calls. So I just I have a lot of thoughts. It's the end of the year. I use Christmas and New Year's, these two holidays, to kind of reflect on things that I've accomplished and things that I need to work on. Okay? And with the coming storm of January approaching, the last thing I want you people to think is that I'm out here saying that it's easy. Is it rewarding? It depends on your perception. It goes back to that perception is reality thing. The more successful you are, the more rewarding it is. It sounds simple. It sounds like duh, but it's true. So if you've gotten this false impression from the content that I put out there, I apologize. Because the last thing I want is for somebody to come out here because they watch some of my videos and think, wow, man, Steve's got it pretty good. I'm going to do what he's doing, and it's going to be easy. as content creators and any other YouTubers that are watching this, it's great to talk about the good. It's great to gloat about your successes. If you got a new truck, if you've got, you know, an awesome company that you work for, or, you know, you've made steps in the right direction, you know. But you also, I feel that maybe we need to put the bad out there as well. Not like be negative about it, but talk about the load cancellations. Talk about the brokers that may or may not have been honest. And you can do it tastefully. You can do it without naming names. But trucking in general, whether you're a company owner operator, has challenges. And those challenges are kind of universal. And you can't fall victim to the grass is greener syndrome that many drivers have. Case in point, if you're leased on with a company, you have to look at that company like a partnership. And is that partner the best for your business? That's something that Jeffrey Light taught me. When I was at Landstar, that partnership did not work for me, and I did not work for it. And knowing what I know now, if I ever had to go back, I could probably do it better than I did before. That's part of the learning experience. But I still feel that they are not a good partner for me. Does that make them a bad company? No. Same thing with Schneider. Schneider was a good partner for me. And that's how I looked at it. The only reason why I left is because Jeffrey Light gave me an opportunity to be partner with him. And there's more opportunity. If you're thinking about becoming an owner op or a lease op, making that huge next step in 2019, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to be all roses and rainbows. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be horrible either. You see, whether it doesn't matter what kind of business you own, you're going to have days and weeks that are challenging, and you're going to have days and weeks where you don't make any money. And you have to figure out whether that money loss is your product, your service, or your management. If you work for a company that you choose your own freight and the loads constantly cancel on you, then you have to figure out a system and a strategy to deal with when that happens, because it will happen. I don't care what company you work for, load cancellations occur a lot late December, early January, because everybody's doing inventory, Christmas is done, and things get kind of weird. It's a part of evolving, it's a part of adapting, and it possesses challenges. So yes, I apologize if you've gotten any impression from me that this is easy, because it's not. I'm not complaining. I'm not struggling. But I am looking for ways to improve on myself so I can maximize my profits and maximize like trucking's profits. I do not want to squander my opportunity. Now, there are some companies that make it easy for you. For example, Snyder. If you've got okay credit and maybe a few dollars, they'll put you in a brand new truck. Do you guys know how hard it is to get a new truck on your own with no experience whatsoever as far as being an owner-operator? Do you know how much money you have to have down and how good your credit it has to be in order to get your own truck? Snyder makes that easy. But you're going to pay. Being an owner-operator, if you're ready to make that plunge, requires planning. It requires a little bit of luck. It requires patience. That's the one. That's the one that a lot of people don't have. Patience is important. You got to be patient to wait for that load that will pay you the money that you want. You got to be patient to know that maybe you got to work for another 6 months before you can go out and buy your own truck. You got to be patient to figure out that it's going to take a few months, if not a year, to learn the system. And if you don't have those three qualities, I'm not saying it's not doable, but I am saying it's going to be more of a challenge. I've watched two people come out here to the spot market and got their butts handed back to them. And as a group, we try to help these people. But there are many challenges out here, and it's not just in trucking, it's within yourself. Knowing what your weak points are and how to fix them, that's one of the most important things too. So I apologize if I've given you this false impression that life is so grand and beautiful out here. Do I try to be a positive person? Yes. But I'm also a realist as well. And you have to take the bad with the good. There are weeks when you're not going to make any money. There are weeks when that truck is going to take a lot of money from you. Because we ask a lot from these trucks every single day. I also want to apologize if you have the impression that I look down on you because you're a company driver. That is far from the truth. I get people all the time, they come up to me, "Oh, hey Steve, you know, I'm just a company driver, but I really enjoy your videos." I don't like the term, "I am just a company driver." Why would you put yourself down? I don't put you down. There may be others that might put you down. And the truth is, I don't make fun of you for whatever company you drive for. I don't make fun of you for what you drive. I'm not sitting there making stupid comments about the truck that you're driving. You know, I don't sit there like, "Oh, you're driving a Volvo," you know. So I definitely don't look down on you for being a company driver. And if you get that impression, I apologize for that too. And you might say, "Well, Steve, why do you care about what other people think?" Because I don't want to be the a-hole that you know, I want to make a positive impression for the trucking industry as a whole. There's a lot of people out there doing YouTube videos that just they give us a bad name. There's a movement out there that hates YouTube truckers. You guys know that? You know, you got that, are you a YouTube trucker or are you a trucker on YouTube? There's even a t-shirt with that on there. If you want to be an owner-operator, do your research and know that you're going to have a hard time of it. Because if it's easy when you come out here, if you sit there like, well, my first year was pretty easy, I would like to meet the person that says that. Oh, my first year as an owner-operator was pretty easy. I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. Well, if you don't struggle, you don't learn. I don't care who you are. And these are the things that I reflect. I've been reflecting on a lot of things here lately. And that's what I do at this time of year. I kind of reflect on how the year went, what I need to improve. And, you know, and I'm already off to a good start for, you know, 2019. I'm a little bit more prepared for the storm that's coming. And it's a matter of doing my part and working a little bit harder and a little bit more sacrifice. I've been too relaxed, and that's a bad thing. Everybody subscribes to Life is Good. I knew that guy back when he was at Landstar. So it's kind of cool to see him move up in the ranks, you know what I mean? To go from a Landstar BCO to now a guy that runs a fleet. Jeffrey Like, same thing. Watch him go from a Schneider owner-operator to the fleet owner that he is now. I've watched a lot of friends go from contract to spot market, you know, and I enjoy everybody's success. Because the more successful we are, the better the industry becomes. And maybe that would create less BS that we got to put up with. I've seen people go from wanting to help to, I'm not helping you now. And that's fine, that's their prerogative. But I do not... I don't want to be a part of that. But here's the thing. There are people that I know, friends of mine have tried to help, and they just won't make the steps necessary to help themselves. And that's the most important part. You've got to recognize what your weaknesses are. Because if you don't, then you're never going to improve. And I'm not telling you that because, oh, I'm a mighty know-it-all or nothing. I've everything I've taught, everything I've tried to teach or teach on my YouTube channel has been stuff that I've been through, stuff that I've experienced. And I'm sure there's a more experienced owner-operator or fleet owner right now that's watching my video and like, oh, Steve, shut up. You're a dumbass. And that's fine. I'm still learning. So I accept that. But if you feel that I've belittled you or I've discriminated against you, or if I gave you the wrong impression about things, I apologize. Let's get to the comments. You guys are coming like crazy. Gear Grabber, what's up? Donnie Luke. Jeff, sorry, disagree. If someone is claiming to be smart enough to run their business, then they should do proper research on profitability, right? I agree. Highway Junkie, Light Bright. Like Trucking Boys will probably put old Jeff in a straitjacket at some point. Yes, we will. All right. Gear Grabber got his truck done. I'm happy with $2 per mile, but I have to work harder pulling a box than I did power only. Oh, let's see. Trucker's Coach said it's not easy. Gear Grabber in the building. I had Sophie's choice when I booked my holiday load yesterday, either take a load to Florida and spend the day with my family or go to Massachusetts or Maine. I put my numbers out, actual numbers, thanks Norlord. CPAP, I appreciate your honesty on your numbers. You know, I think you beat yourself up a little bit too much, but I honestly think that you've got pretty good numbers as far as your rate per mile, your overall rates. Clyde, what's up? It's not easy as people think it is. You got to put effort in it. That's right. It looks easy, but the challenges sometimes will make you go nuts on occasion. I agree. Chad May, I signed on with Gorley Trucking. I'm much happier there than Traveloco. Awesome, Chad May. Awesome, awesome, awesome. There was a heavy recruiting from said company, and you know, I know a couple of people that went back to their original companies from there. Big Rig CEO, what's up? Thomas Wilson, hunker down for the storm coming. January and February will be tough. There are times I've thought I'm not equipped for it. It will make you wonder sometimes if it is, and other times it will make you want to pull your hair out. Truckers Coach, I agree. There's got to be a certain passion for this. You know, there's got to be a certain passion for trucking or for business or for crunching numbers. I think that's why Harold is so successful on what he's doing, because he loves being out here. He loves his truck. He loves trucking. He loves looking for loads. So this is like kid in the candy store for him. But even then, he has bad days and challenges, right? I am a calm man, little bike coach. All right, Harold says, I'm sorry if someone chooses a business direction based on a YouTube video and do no other research. Failure will come from poor business mind, not your videos. Harold, now you know why I made this video. Because too many people are doing research on YouTube only. They're following the wrong people, or they're following just certain people, and they don't get the right impression. And I don't want anybody watching my videos thinking that they're getting, you know, a misrepresentation of what's going on. But that's the mindset. People want that information now, and they don't want to pay for it, and they don't, you know, you know, there's no book. You can't go to the library and say how to be an owner operator. You know, it's that's the basis of doing my video. Do you think I'm honestly making an apology? Yes, but there's you know, if you feel that if a person deserves an apology for that, look inside yourself and realize that maybe it's not my fault. Thomas Wilson says, I love your channel because you're just yourself, honest. You have been there and done it. You give great advice. Thomas, I appreciate that. My current contract says Spoovy is up on the 31st, going to be looking for a different direction myself. Anyone who makes a business decision based off of YouTube videos without doing the due diligence doesn't belong in business. That is a very correct Southern Storm. You got to set goals, or that's how I got to look at it. I have to do things one day at a time, or I overload easy with my condition I have. Now, Trucker's Coach brings up a point. That goes back to what I'm saying. Know your weaknesses, and then try to work, you know, with them. Use them to your advantage, or you know, okay, I've got to do things differently. I feel that if I'm not organized enough, then I get too scatterbrained, and that's where I'm going to make mistakes. You know, when you know, other trucker James Best came to like trucking, he beat me because, you know, he got all of his stuff, you know, his plate for his truck and trailer, and he got it quicker than I did because I wanted to be systematic. I wanted the actual plate in my physical hand, you know, and I wanted to, you know, I'm more, you know, like every time I do a new load, I write down everything down before I move the truck. You know, unless I'm in a hurry, then, you know, I'll write it down the shipper or whatever. But you know, every load that I don't know where I'm going, I check it out on Google Maps. I make sure I know 100% where I'm going, you know, and I don't just fly by the seat of my pants, because that can be a recipe for disaster in my world. But for someone else, it might work for them. If you don't know your costs, you'll never know what you have to make. Clyde, that is very true. I didn't, you know, Tim Gorley just put out a video about Fogline software. And if you go to that video, I commented, I wish that I had done that when I was at Landstar. How I made it is beyond me, because I did not keep track of my numbers. I was literally, I mean, now don't get me wrong, orientation, they kind of went over what our cost per mile was, but they didn't explain that I could go below that cost as long as the next load was like over the cost. And so it averages out, and you know, and I didn't know that. So I was one of those guys, well, I'm not moving this truck for less than this and this much per mile, and sit for 3 days. And I was also like not willing to do a whole lot of deadhead, and that was, so between that and not knowing my numbers, you know, as I was going, not realizing that my Peterbilt was costing me too much money. I appreciate that, Highway Surfer. Heath Close, impossible? What's impossible? I struggle with being gone. That's the truth. I have zero credit unless you have a dump truck of money for down payment. Everyone has their own challenges. You guys, I'm at a comment that was at 5:30. Ace says that's why I'm doing one more lease. I don't have the credit for a new truck or the savings to roll the dice on a used truck. X Rose said it best, just a little patience. There you go. Alright, we're going through the comments here. What it done, where I say, let's get that here. Okay, I can't read it. I appreciate that, Ace. All right, guys, I'm reading. I got to get caught up here. Think positive. One day you will die, and no one will remember you or your children or your children. Oh man, that's funny. Chad May, congratulations for being Gorley Trucking's one of his contractors. Pamela B, hubby and I are running company running team, saving our money for when we're ready to go out on our own. We'll have a nice cushion for the not so good days. Good deal. That's the important part. All right. Bugatti, what's up? I mean, the internet is wrong. Yep. Mike Stevens, what's up? Southern Storm. I'm overweight. Shipper is closed, so I'm going back home. Daniel Adami, that sucks, man. Asian My Show, I'm apologizing for misleading people if you get the wrong impression. We'll have to go back. I'm so behind on comments. What are you? 13.2 axle? Twin Truckers, what's up? Big Rig Bill. Daniel, go to Zello. Yeah, leave my video and go to Zello. It's almost the end of the year, guys, and I'm going to do a end of the year profit and loss just to see where I'm at and where I need to improve and what I need to do. And I've got the best mentors at Like Trucking that one could possibly have. And it goes back to find a company that you can support. If you're new to the game and you feel that you don't have a strong foundation, make sure that you create this a strong, here's the thing, man. A lot of people, it's natural to be nervous going into something. You don't want to go into something overly confident. If you are uncomfortable and out of your comfort zone, you got to make sure it's a good thing, but figure out why you're uncomfortable. Go over all the what ifs. Overthink it. And it's kind of like, imagine a swimming pool full of cold water. Or full of water. You don't know if it's cold, hot, warm, whatever. You can dip your toes and you can make assumptions, and you can sit there and like him and ha. But if you mentally prepare yourself to jump in that pool and take whatever it gives you, then you'll be all right. The other thing is you're not going to get your dream truck from the first start. You're not going to get that W9. You're not going to get that Lone Star. You're not going to get that 389 or that new Volvo 780 or 860, whatever the hell it's called now, at first. And if you do, then you're gonna then there's less room for error because your payments are going to be high. But if you get a truck that's too in bad a shape, that can also cost you just as much money. And the worst combination is to have an older truck with a high lease payment. That's where disaster strikes. Because look at it this way. If you are new to the game and you have a $4,000 to $5,000 a month truck payment, you've got a lot of stuff stacked against you, man. Completely. Because even the best owner-operators out here that have the nicest trucks don't have trucks that are $5,000 a month. Think about that. And while, and the other thing is if you're a first-time truck buyer, prepare to pay out the yin-yang for your interest rate. Unless you can convince your bank to do it. But there's a lot of banks that won't do commercial loans. But keeping control of your costs in the beginning is important, because you don't want to get to the point like I did and max out your credit cards and hope that you don't have another repair. I've been there, done that. As you guys know, I'm honest with you. You could have a brand new truck and have a catastrophic failure, but that's where warranty should kick in. but you're still going to have downtime. You're going to still need money for the tow. You're going to still need money for the hotel room, the downtime. You could have a brand new spanking truck and hit a deer that causes $10,000 worth of damage and costs you a week or 2 weeks down. Or, you know, you could be at a truck stop, someone takes your hood out. You know, warranty or not, you still got to wait for that to get fixed. And if you are on such a fragile existence, you're going to get stressed out. You're not going to feel good about it. And I'm telling you guys, with as much crap as we put up with, the less stress you can put on yourself, it will be easier to make the right decisions and to strategize in going forward. If you are so caught up and angry about everything, and it's like putting this haze on making the smart decisions on what you need to do. Good deal, Truckers Coach. Rican Trucker, what's up? New York City. Louis Hugh, TJ, what's up? Truckin' A says, I was looking at quality lease. Oh my God, they're almost as expensive as SFI truck and they are 4 years old. You know, that is a recipe for disaster. I will admit that. When it comes to Snyder Finance, I want you guys to pay attention to this. You have Snyder Finance owner-operators or lease operators that are averaging $1.60 to $1.80 a mile, making those $4,000 a month truck payments. And you got other owner-operators with less truck payments that are struggling to make it at $2 a mile. Goes back to that perception thing. And Big Rig CEO can probably attest to this. There's a certain work ethic. Here's the other thing, guys. Here's the other thing. Just because you have freedom doesn't mean you don't have to work. As my CDL instructor once said, you pay the cost to be the boss. But just because you're the boss doesn't mean you don't have to work. Freedom means the ability to take any opportunity that's given to you so you can work to create a better life for you. Not get everything handed to you. There's no entitlement out here. You're not entitled to anything. Nothing. And too many people think that they're entitled to a new truck, or they're entitled to only work, you know, this certain area. They're entitled to, you know, not have to fix flat tire on that drop and hook trailer you got to deal with. And if you feel entitlement, if you feel that you're entitled to anything and that the world is unfair, guess what? You will fail. If you think that the brokers should give you top dollar every single load, and that there aren't times that you're going to lose money, that's you're going to have a tough time. Everybody's out here to make a buck. You know, between the regulations and the truck shops, the towing companies, the manufacturers, the truck stops. Everybody's out to get a piece of our pie. So you have to defend that pie as much as possible and get the biggest pies that you possibly can. And no one's giving that to you. No one's entitling you that. No one, you know, your job is to get something from point A to point B in a safe, efficient manner. And if you feel that has to be given to you, it ain't gonna happen. They might make you think you're getting given, oh, I'm gonna give you this brand new truck straight out of the box, and we're gonna give you this whole plethora of freight. Here's our load board. Look at all this freight you can do. But you still have to put in the work to make things go from point A to point B as efficiently and as inexpensively as you possibly. How much did you ever spend on a, I can't read that emoji. I think the freedom comes from your ability to maximize the pay for the amount of time you put into it. I always enjoyed hard work, just didn't enjoy how much of my pie I was giving up. Spooby, I agree. Why don't they ever school? I don't know. I think that How to Win Friends and Influence People, that book by Dale Carnegie, should be taught in schools twice. You'd be a better business person, you'd be a better person, and people would get what they want without feeling entitled or without having to burn somebody down to get it. I gotta keep an eye on my time. I want to use this opportunity to thank the people that have helped me out. And, you know, it's too many to mention. I don't want to leave anybody out. But I definitely thank Jeffrey Light for giving me the opportunity. And, you know, it wasn't easy. I had to go out and buy a $30,000 trailer to get where I'm at here. But that gives me more freedom. The name of the book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I appreciate it. You're welcome, Heath. And I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch. I don't care how many experts you watch. Until you're out here doing it, you know, there's still a lot to learn. You can sit there and go through however many hours of Jeffrey Likes videos there are, and feel, you might feel more confident coming into this, but there's still a lot of things that you're going to learn the hard way. We could sit there and watch a game and like, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. But until you're on the field seeing the reality of the plays, you can't make that judgment. And I'm not saying that you can't come into this and succeed through blind luck and stumbling across, because you know, like Chad Boblet always talks about how he bought his first truck with 3 credit cards, you know, and you know, but he had a good work ethic, so he paid it, you know, he paid that off, and he wasn't in debt. You know, I only had to put $2,000 down on my first truck. That's unheard of, you know, unless you're getting a high-end Snyder Finance lease or something like that. Are deals like that out there? Yes, but I don't tell people, hey, you know, just have $2,000, you'll be all right. And I was making enough money at Landstar that, and fuel was cheap, that I didn't have to keep track of everything. It was just easy to make that money. But Snyder was a better partner for me because of the consistency. Then I knew that that's what I needed to do. Consistency is key. $3 a mile is no good if you're only doing 3 loads a week. $3 a mile is no good if you're only doing 600 miles a week. You know what I mean? And yeah, you want to get as much money per mile to maximize profits. But at the same time, you know, there are other factors involved than just your rate per mile. You got tolls, you got fuel, you got scale tickets, you got, you know, all kinds of different expenses. You have your fixed costs and your variable costs. And it's the variable ones that kind of screw people up. You can plan on your fixed costs all day long, but it's the variables. That's the one that can kick you in the butt. Thank you, Pamela. If you think you're ready to be an owner-operator, ask yourself if you love trucking and if you have the burning desire to run a business. If you can't answer to a resounding yes, this may not be right for you. There you go. I told you Big Rig CEO is honest with his words, with this channel. That's what it is, man. I love trucking and I want to be a business person. Those two elements, you know, were there. And I think that's what's got me this far. However, I have to be smarter about it. And I have to have a positive outlook. So, you know, there are a lot of guys that say, oh, I used to enjoy trucking, I don't enjoy it anymore. Well, what happened? Oh, you know, blame it on this, blame it on the forwarders, blame it on, you know, the regulations, blame it on the government, blame it on the company. Is what changed your perception of trucking that you want to get out of it? And if you want to get out of it, maybe you can be successful in the truck to where you can devise a plan to get out of the truck. You ever thought about that? I know people that are starting trucking business as a means to an end. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this business here, and then I'll be ready to do my other business that gets me outside of the truck. If you hate trucking, that might be a motivator for you to go, you know what? I want to do this I don't want to do this for the next 10 years, so I got to get my act together so I can be out of here in 10 years and not have to worry about this stuff. If you're not sure what your weakness is, get a mentor to help guide the way. Many old school truckers have educated me over the years. You want to know something? Let's lighten this live feed up a little bit. My friend James, Big Rig CEO, he gives me advice a lot. And there are times that I don't follow it. And then 6 months later, I'm like, I'll discover it on my own, or so I think. And I'm like, hey, look what I did. And I do a video about it. And it infuriates him. Because he's like, that's what I've been trying to tell you this whole time. I'm sure that's happened with me and Jeff as well. You know, Jeff is probably like, I've been telling you this for 6 months, you know? It's always great advice, by the way. Oh, man. But anyways, we're at an hour. I'll probably do one more live feed before Christmas. Probably my weekend live. And that'll be my year-end. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for everything. Check my phone. I've got it on silent. You know, it's a wild ride, guys. If you love trucking, this is trucking at its pure essence, man. Dealing with it as a business. You know, there are video games out there where you can run trucking as a business. And you know, and if you love numbers and you love the challenge and you've got a good work ethic, man, I think you have what it takes to come out here. You know, and you got to have support from the family. That's another important factor that a lot of people don't realize. You know, when you got to tell your wife, hey, we have a $10,000 truck repair, you know, that's more than what you might have paid for your car that you have at home, you know. And you know, their perception of the money can be different, so you have to have their support. They have to understand that it's a business and you have to run it like a business. You might have $10,000 in the bank, but that doesn't mean squat. You know what I mean? So that's an important aspect as well, because support from the family, and you got to kind of have a little bit of mental stability. If you're dealing with a lot of, you know, depression, and you feel like you're unstable, putting the stress of being an owner operator may not be the best thing, you know, unless you can work around what you need. You know, in other words, you got to be able to have time to clear your head so you can make the right decisions. And every now and then I need to do that. I used to have pretty bad depression out here. And I told you guys, I'm not the most positive person. I try to put out positive content. I try to be a blessing in this YouTube universe. But I fail at times, you know. I've done videos where I'm angry. I've done videos, you know, that I probably shouldn't have said certain things. But in the end, I learned from my mistakes. And part of the learning process is adapting, and your family has to adapt too. If you have little kids at home, it's a little bit more of a challenge. And you know, and they don't understand why dad or mom has to stay out for, you know, a month straight, because if they don't, then, you know, food doesn't go on the table. But it's a good lesson to teach them. You know, if your kids sit there and say they want you to quit truck driving, and you do, it doesn't teach them. It teaches them that the world caters to them, and you don't want to teach them that. You want to teach them that, you know what, through hard work we get rewards. There's too many people making, you know, career decisions based off what their children want them to do. You know, my dad was a truck driver, and did it suck when he was out a month or two at a time? Yes. But we had a good life. And then later on, he made up for it by taking me in the truck, and when he got out of the truck, we were doing a lot of fishing together. You know, it's like he made up for that time. If it's a struggle to be away from your family, maybe being an owner operator isn't for you. Or you got to create a situation that allows you to be home more often, but it's hard to make a profit. You know, yeah, you can go. I can go home anytime I want, right? But the truck payment is still due. The trailer payment is still due. The insurance is still due. Cargo insurance is still due. You know, those things don't wait. Those things don't care about kids' birthdays, holidays, any of that stuff. You know, and if you have to work over Christmas because maybe things weren't the best situation for you, then you learn from that, and then that way the next year you can take 2 weeks off for Christmas, that kind of thing. You know, try to stay out of feast or famine mode, where you make a ton of money and then you sit for 2 weeks. Again, I did that. I've done that. Don't be complacent. Again, I've done that. 99% of the stuff that I tell you guys is stuff that I'm either have learned the hard way or I'm learning as I go. Little Dog went live and I've lost half my viewers. 10 years. I go home every other weekend and still average 4K a week gross. It's all about time management and load planning. There you go. And you've got a good partner too, Big Rig CEO. Alrighty. I am done with this live feed. Again, if it ticked you off, I'm sorry. I apologize. Because that was not my intent. But I wanted to put out there that there are realities that you have to face out here. And sometimes the worst enemy is not the trucking company you work for. not the color of your trailer, not the name that's on the side of your door, not the leasing company that actually owns your truck. Sometimes the worst enemy is yourself. And I know that by experience, because I've been my own worst enemy. Talk to you later. See ya.